Another day, another headline. Pull up a chair, come on in. Different minds around the table. Let's see where the night begins. Questions welcome, ideas welcome. Everybody gets a say. Leave with better questions than the ones you brought today. Community, unity, learning, thinking. Welcome to the following, where good logic has a say. Think a little, laugh a little, grow a little. Today Joe is not at all the leader of the following, not at all a cult type of cult. Hey! Type of cult. No Kool-Aid, no spaceships, no squirrel mutilations, no sacrificing goats. Tracksuits not mandatory, just highly recommended. Buy a hat, buy a mug, link in the description. No throwing virgins into volcanoes, no dancing around a bonfire while shucking off clothing in the middle of the forest to the beat of a tom-tom, beat of a tom-tom, beat of a tom. Not at all a cult type of cult. If the stream suddenly goes sideways, Joe Boomered again. Community, unity, learning, thinking. Pull up a chair, stay a while. Welcome to the following, where good logic has a say. Think a little, laugh a little, grow a little. Today Joe is not at all the leader of the following, not at all a cult type of cult. The following program starts now.
Tony Fauci is an absolute criminal.
Can you tell us about the mindset of coming into your last season? Like, that's a real thing, it feels like, because is everything better? Is everything funner? Is everything more awesome? Like, how do you kind of view this year versus maybe the years of the past?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay. Okay.
Like
Gotta
that,
love that guy.
Okay.
like that absolute coward, Tony Fauci. Absolute coward.
Like, hey, it's back,
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 111
You got a
times.
pardon and you're in front and you pleaded over 100 times
Yeah.
at the White House. What are you scared of, Tony?
Yeah.
I thought you were the science.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you were I am science, and you get up there and you can't answer a question.
Yeah.
What are we doing? And how much time did the network spend at that? How much time did they spend on my responses every week, on my vaccination status, on Taylor and Travis's wedding?
Yeah!
Did they do even a minute? Did they do even a minute on Tony Fauci?
No, I don't think I've heard
Nah, I
anything.
bet they didn't.
But on that note,
Then there was another scandal this offseason, too, involving a voter for MVP, for Coach of the Year. How much time did your network spend? What's your cap? Did your network spend on
our
that?
network.
I wish
How much time did you
Go back
spend?
to Fauci. I wish I
How
could
much
do
time?
Fauci. This is awesome.
Hey, Tony, go back to Fauci?
Yeah.
Go back to the coward Tony Fauci and science,
Hold on now.
who's spending the entire time writing in his diary about how fun it is to be famous. You got to be kidding me.
Okay, so on that note,
What are you going to say about me now?
Debate him,
What are you going to say about me
no,
now?
I got no debate here. You had a 500.
No, seriously, what are they going to say about me now? Now that you can't talk about the COVID stuff because obviously it was made, in a lab in China. That's like not even questionable anymore. Tony Fauci is an absolute criminal. I'm on good terms with my family. I'm on good terms with my family. What are you going to say now? What are you going to say
I
now?
want to let you know it's been a fun ride for you. I would assume over the last
It's
couple.
been a great life and a great career. And it's nice to be sitting on this side now, especially after that coward played the fifth over 100 times.
Okay.
I thought you had a pardon there, Tony. Why couldn't you answer one question the entire time?
Okay,
Why
we
not?
got 4 minutes until the heart out.
Yeah, I got four more minutes in it. We can keep this shit going.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Logic. I hope you all had a wicked weekend. That's the phrase, wicked. Right? That's a Boston thing, isn't it? I think so. I don't know. Wicked. I hope it was awesome, phenomenal, exceptional. I actually got to work on like a little project. This is what ended up happening, and there's no goal. Well, there is a goal. You just don't see a goal. You're kind of like, it's like you in YouTube. It's kind of like you're the ghetto, because the Rumble ghetto, because you don't see a goal, but there's a goal. You don't know there's a goal. The reason you don't see a goal here is I don't know what the heck is glitching with YouTube. They're not showing me the opportunity to create a goal. I tried going on my phone. Part of the reason I was late tonight is because I was trying to set up a goal. There is a goal tonight. I'm going to get to that in just a moment. But first, tonight, we have Kathy Hochul humiliated her stupid statutes. Federal judge saying, this is crap. That doesn't work. You can't do this. Temporarily stay, where she's looking to ban ICE agents from wearing masks. Also, Andy Ogles, Tennessee, looking to impeach a crazy leftist judge. And finally, Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche is making a lot of waves as he's trying to do everything he can to angle for that AG position to get confirmed, particularly trying to win favor with John Cornyn and Tom Tillis, the two losers who were humiliated and basically bounced out of the GOP Senate and not running for re-election. Well, Cornyn ran. It just didn't go too well. Tom Tillis run? I don't remember. Anyway, they were threatening to withhold their their confirmation of Todd Blanche. So we're going to talk about what steps Todd Blanche has been taking in order to try and secure their vote, because he needs 50 votes, and that means he needs Tillis and he needs Cornyn. So we're going to see how his efforts in that regard, what exactly he's doing, and how his efforts in that regard seem to be faring so far. Also, are his tactics, is it a good thing? Are we rooting for Todd Blanche? I'm a little bit cynical. I'm a little bit cynical. Pam Bondi got me like a little bit like I don't know. Maybe we could definitely talk about that. I got other news to talk with you about also, Mondani. Stuff going on all over the place. Plus, I have a goal tonight. Now, the reason you don't see the goal over in YouTube, where I normally will post that beautiful goal, is because they wouldn't let me post a goal. I don't know why. The goal was actually related to that clip I started with in the beginning, and that relates partially to my weekend, in that Lady Lawgic said to me, you should really be using that AI to create more music, because I always have been creating music. She's like, you should make a funny song about Fauci. So I was like, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. I kind of like that. I like that idea a lot. So I got to work. I spent the last day, I've been trying to put together a song about Fauci. And while I was working on this song, well, anyway, I'm not sure how funny it is. It's not really funny. It's a good song, though. It's a good song because it helps me draw pleasure from the humiliation that he had last week. And I think you'll like it. I think you're going to like it. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm not crazy about thrusting this on you. I don't want to just sort of throw it in your face, because it's not it's not my best work. I like the song. I like it more than I admit, but I can't explain why. You know what it's like? It's like that song, The Richmond, North of Richmond. I like the song. I just don't know why. Right? It's that kind of vibe too, the song. It's that kind of vibe, but it's a vibe about Fauci, which is it's mocking him. It's mocking him. So if we hit our normal goal tonight, if we hit our normal parameters, which I know is very, very unlikely, because you don't see that goal in front of you. You don't see it in front of you. If we hit our normal goal of 15 super chats, Rumble rants, Digger dollars, etc., 15 of those of $10 or more, I'll share the song with you. I'm kind of feel like I'm bearing my soul. I'm not really crazy about this. We'll see. I like it more than I want to admit. I don't know why. I like it. It's a fun song. It's a fun song. I think you'll like it. I don't know. I'm gonna hide my head in shame while I'm airing it, because I'm kind of embarrassed by it. But it so sucks that I don't have a goal up there. What the hell's wrong with freaking YouTube? I need my goal. I need my goal. How am I supposed to goal without a goal? What the hell's wrong with I keep refreshing. That's why you hear myself in the background. I keep refreshing, and I don't know why it is they're not letting me post a goal. This is stupid. This is very, very stupid. I'll go KP Times. You know what? I'll tell you right now. You know what? Because I'll make it 150 total. I'm not going to be particular tonight. We'll see. I'm not going to be particular tonight. You think I can keep track of this stuff? I'm a lawyer. I'm supposed to do math. While we're talking about Dr. Fauci, before I move on from that freaking evil midget. Why is that doing that? Oh, I don't want that in the background. I definitely don't want that. I definitely. Just in, Florida, Alabama, Louisiana have launched investigations into Dr. Fauci. State-level investigations are not covered under the auto pen pardon. Leave no stone unturned. Fauci must face consequences. Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, this is a guy that was drinking his own Kool-Aid. He was venerated by the media. I think he liked the fact that he had a lot of this informal power when he was issuing those recommendations, telling governors and mayors do some of the draconian things that were actually done. It had a really negative effect on a lot of societies throughout the country. You had businesses reeling, people's liberties curtailed, and kids left on the sideline unable to access education. Let's hear this quick little report here.
And they've now announced investigations into Dr. Fauci. Former President Joe Biden granted Fauci that pardon before he left the White House, but it didn't protect him from this. Here's Governor Ron DeSantis.
This is a guy that was drinking his own Kool-Aid. He was venerated by the media. I think he liked the fact that he had a lot of this informal power.
He loved it.
When he was issuing these recommendations and telling governors and mayors to do some of the draconian things that were actually done, it had a really negative effect on a lot of societies throughout this country. You had businesses reeling, people's liberties curtailed, and kids left on the sideline unable to access education.
And they've now announced.
So 3 different states, Alabama, Louisiana, and Florida, launching their own statewide investigations. You would think that they have state RICO laws that they can go after him for basically misleading the public and causing a panic by willfully and intentionally misleading the public. It's one thing if he did it with misfeasance, like he just sucked at his job. But this is a guy who knew better and was purposefully lying to us. So that's what we I'm hopeful. We'll see. Certainly if there's any update in that direction, I am going to be all over this. I'm certainly going to be all over anything related to seeing that dark soul prosecuted. That's definitely something that I think it would make God happy. It would make God happy. Certainly make me happy. I'm not God, but I'm a long way from being God. But it would make me happy. I'm sure it'd make a lot of you happy too. It'd make all of us happy. All right. Let's go on to let's talk about Kathy Hochul. Kathy Hochul. First, good evening. I'm on time. 25 months. Good to see you, Shiloh. 25 months. Nice. That's you and me, kid. 25 months. And another one who's been here. She's been here more than a minute. Erin Troy. Okay, I'll kick it off. Let's hear the dulcet tones of composers Joe's creation. It's not so dull. It is kind of dulcet. It's not my voice. Here was one of the things that frustrated me when I was creating this song was that I actually uploaded Anthony Fauci's voice because it's like him singing his story. It's him singing his story, but doesn't sound anything like him. I was like, use this voice. I called it Anthony, and it doesn't sound anything like him. It's definitely doesn't sound like me, that's for sure. if that's what you're paying for, I don't want to mislead you like I'm Anthony Fauci and then later on have to like plead the fifth. So yeah. Anyhow, let's talk about Kathy Hochul. She who if you look at her, she looks like she's been vaxxed a few times too many. So federal court has enjoined the state of New York's face covering and identification acts because states have no authority to regulate federal officers under the Constitution's supremacy clause. Oh no, under the supremacy clause, you can't do that. You can't do that. You don't have a right to dictate to federal agencies how they do their job. That's just not something you have any sort of authority, Kathy. No, Kathy. That's not the way this whole thing works. Doesn't go like that. No. As reported by Red States, no authority. Federal judge blocks New York's anti-ICE mask law in big blow to Kathy Hochul. She must be so pissed off. And a report that just dropped all of like an hour and a half ago. But frankly, this news came out this morning. New York State's continuing quest to kneecap efforts by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is dealing with the illegal alien crisis that former President Joe Biden brought us. New York's continuing quest. This sentence is a mouthful. New York's continuing quest to kneecap the efforts by ICE in dealing with illegal alien crisis that former President Joe Biden brought us took a big blow Monday when federal judge said the state did not, N-O-T, not have the conditional authority to order a mask for federal agents. The ruling did also say, however, that the state could ban masks for its own law enforcement agents and continue to refuse to cooperate with ICE. So you can unmask your own stupid people and then see how many cops you have that want to work for you. You just can't do anything related to ICE agents. The agency has argued repeatedly that agents have been subject to violence, threats, and doxing as the Democrats' anti-ICE rhetoric has maintained a fever pitch since Donald Trump returned to the Oval Office. If you do 2 green tonight, yes, it'll count as a yellow. Yes. Tonight, 2 greens equal yellow. Yes. Empire State Government and illegal immigrant enabler Kathy Hochul will not be pleased. She's not gonna be happy. A federal judge has struck down New York law prohibiting officers from wearing masks. The Constitution's supremacy clause does not allow New York to regulate federal law enforcement activities, District Judge May D'Agostino said in a ruling on Monday. The old supremacy clause, Article 4, Clause 2 in the United States Constitution, which the Democrats have continually pretended does not exist in their efforts to resist Trump and his agenda. Let the founders themselves explain it. Quote, this Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, of which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land, hence the term supremacy clause. See, it's this key word here, saying it's the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the constitutional laws of any state to the contrary, notwithstanding, strike it down. If it's in violation of federal law, strike it down. Listen, I didn't even go to law school, but that seems pretty self-explanatory to me. Although the state can tell local law enforcement how to act, they have no such jurisdiction over the feds, Judge D'Agostino ruled. New York cannot impose its own uniform requirements on federal agents simply because it disagrees with how the federal government is exercising its authority, D'Agostino wrote. Another win on the issue of President Trump and another big setback for anti-ICE Democrats, the decision is a victory for Trump administration, which has successfully challenged laws attempting to force ICE agents to stop wearing masks and display their badges while making arrests. A federal judge blocked a similar mask ban in California, and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals went on to block the state's law requiring federal officers to wear visible badge numbers and names. The administration has also challenged similar laws in Connecticut, New Jersey, Virginia, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Warning, there's profanity in this video is coming, and we will be watching this video. As Nick Sorter reported, a federal judge has just blocked Kathy Hochul's law banning ICE agents from wearing masks from going into effect. This is great news. It's just weeks ago, I caught a rioter on video telling an agent, "I have your face, mother effer, you're dead."
I'll kill your whole fucking family! Your whole fucking family's dead! Come on! Your children, your wife, all dead! Punch it! My boy! I have your face, motherfucker! You're dead! Dead! Put your stick out, because I'm about that life. You said come on? You said come on, right? Yeah, it's small now. Put your stick out, tell your boy to back up.
Yeah, that guy, by the way, has been identified and charged. He was arrested. I don't know if he's out on bail or not, but he's facing federal charges for threatening a federal agent. So that's good news. That's good news. But they want basically these people, these lunatics, to have free reign to threaten the hell out of ICE. And let's face the facts here. That is 100% the goal here. The goal here is to intimidate ICE agents. They won't want to come into New York because they'll be afraid that I can't wear a mask there and I'm going to be identified by some deranged, crazy DSA lunatic. And they're going to basically be, coming after me and my family if I can't wear a mask. So what am I going to do? I can't go there. That's why they want to have laws like this. Their objective is to intimidate ICE from wanting to operate within New York State. So, yeah, you don't have the authority to do that, Kathy. Basically, what she effed around and she's finding out. Now, it's not official yet. This is a stay. The stay actually says orders that defendants and their successors, agents, and employees are hereby preliminarily enjoined from enforcing New York Civil Rights Law 101, the Face Covering Act, and New York Civil Rights Law 102. And the court further orders that this preliminary injunction shall remain in full force and effect until entry of final judgment on the merits, unless otherwise subsequently ordered. And the court further orders that the clerk of the court serve a copy of this memo, decision, and order on all parties in accordance with local rules. It is so ordered. That is your standard language in a TRO. That is your standard operating language, because you're basically saying this is what's going to be, these are the rules that are governing until we have a final determination. Really, that's preliminary injunction type of language when you're saying, it means we're past the TRO stage. Preliminary injunction is, normally a TRO gets converted into preliminary injunction in New York. So, and it seemed based on the length of the decision that this was a preliminary injunction, not a TRO, because it's a 51-page decision, from what I recall. It's better. TRO only lasts for like a week or two. This is lasting throughout the duration of the trial. Just to explain to you procedurally the way the whole thing works. When you go for a TRO, the first step is you try to get a temporary restraining order. I'm talking specifically New York. This works in federal court too. Yeah, so this is excellent news. Excellent news. What else do I have here? Do I want to cover this one too? Is this going to feel repetitious? I'm feeling like this one's going to feel repetitious. This is number 2. I assume she's calling out her green chats, not calling out that this is article number 2, because if so, Kansas Memo was incredibly prescient. That was incredibly prescient. Thanks for the jewels. Thanks for the family jewels. Yeah, so that's excellent news. We should all be very thrilled about that. Should be ecstatic about that. What else did I have here? There's more going on in New York that I wanted to share with you before I move on. Oh, where is it? Let me see it here. Give me a moment. So Mamdani has his subsidized socialist groceries. While we're in New York, before we leave New York, Mamdani's got his socialist groceries, which he's very, very excited about. And people have noticed something very hypocritical about his stupid socialist policies, which is that one is they check IDs.
How are you going to keep people from taking advantage of that, that deal, basically? And is there going to be a limit on the number of items that someone can take that are discounted at that level from that essential basket?
So our RFP makes very clear that this is a program for New Yorkers to be able to put food on the table, not a program for people to be able to make a quick buck through reselling. I'm going to
Which will definitely happen.
pass it over to our EDC head, G-Pack, to add some additional details.
Yes, if you look at our RFP for the operator, we are looking to make sure that we target New Yorkers, whether it be at sort of a library card-esque thing, and also we manage
RFP just stands for request for proposal.
who's buying, and that is focused on everyday New Yorkers. So we are mindful of that.
Oh, so you're checking IDs to make sure they're New Yorkers. You're not going to let little New Jersey me come on over there and get your discounted produce over there and your little socialist agenda. Oh, okay. All right.
And so we're going to make sure that we have all the things in place to ensure that that does not happen.
Things in place. What are things in place? What are the things in place there? Walk us through it. Walk us through it. What does that mean? She doesn't want to say it out loud because she knows how stupid it sounds to say you're going to need ID to buy apples, but not to vote. She knows how insane that sounds. But you will need ID to buy apples or eggs. Yeah, you're going to need ID for that in their little socialist store. Stupid. New York requires an ID to shop at a city-run grocery store, qualify for affordable housing, get a book from a library, shovel snow for the city, apply for food stamps, adopt a shelter pet, or vote in elections. No, not to vote in elections. Which one of these things is not like the others? Here's Trump weighing in on that.
Please.
Mr. President, New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani is requiring an ID to access his government-run grocery stores. What then is your message to Democrats who do not want to pass the Save America Act and ensure, ID at the ballot box?
This was just announced.
Do not want to pass the Save America Act.
Well, I wish they'd have an ID to access the voting booth. They don't want to access the voting booth with any identification. We want voter ID and we want proof of citizenship. Well, he also had a thing where you had to have 2 different IDs to shovel snow during the winter. Right?
Yeah, he had that
That's
too.
a very friendly question. I like her. Who are you with?
One American News, sir.
Very good. Please.
OAN. OAN is asking questions like, let's set him up with a little T-ball throw here for you. You don't throw in T-ball, right? We'll place it on the T, right? That's why it's T-ball. I just realized that. I was thinking of a little lob it over thing. I never played T-ball. I did play softball, but not T-ball. I don't know these things. I don't know these things. While we're talking about socialists, before we move on from socialists, I will share this with you. Yeah, it's unbelievable. This is what Libs TikTok was sharing out. Undercover investigation shows college professors at an American Psychology Association event discussing how they secretly inject DEI and pro-Islam propaganda in universities to circumvent federal laws. A lot of that was removed. We had to rewrite our grant using non-triggering language. Non-triggering language meaning triggering federal offense. triggering a lack of federal funding
So not to give me my paper, but to take DBI out.
Today we're going to talk about Palestine.
This is the American Psychological Association's annual conference. You'd think they'd be focused on training attendees to become better mental health professionals. Instead, they're focused on identity politics.
They want to do some activism around this while teaching.
So part of how I do it is
We should refer to this guy as former associate professor Samuel Beasley, because this guy's not long for his job after this video dropped.
try to think about what's the class and the topic that I'm covering. So for example, this fall I'm teaching the DSM class.
Yeah.
So in the class, I will do case studies. You can just make one of your case studies be a client that is dealing with some of these issues. So you still have somebody diagnosed for depression, anxiety, but a part of the assignment is to, from an ethical standpoint, from a multicultural standpoint, how do we address the concerns that are coming up for that client?
That's my next story. Duck Fat.
You might ask them to do some research to bring in some background for that particular case study. So that's how I do it. The issue in Kentucky is like viewpoint diversity and those kind of things. It's like, well, if I embed it within a clinical situation and connect it to our values as counseling psychologists, then I have a much clearer path. But I almost always
I have to embed it in. I can't put it as part of the curriculum. I just embed it in.
2, usually week 3.
Nice.
Week 1, we talk about ethics.
Okay.
Week 3, we talk about multicultural issues and talk about how ethics link into multicultural issues and why counseling psychologists need to deal with these issues. And you can just integrate that as part of the story. So rather than, today we're going to talk about Palestine.
The conflict between Israel and Hamas has led to a lot of conflict within the APA. Members report being harassed at APA events because of their Jewish faith. Allegedly, a former APA division president taught that Zionism is a mental illness. She referred to Israelis as genocidal f***s, and after the October 7th terror attack, wrote that Hamas terrorists were martyrs.
When you start having your case studies or you start having readings, then if someone wants to challenge it, you say, well, you actually are challenging our values as a whole. You actually are challenging what APA has said we need to do. So I start with that so that when they want to press that, like, it makes it more difficult for them to do that.
Right.
And I usually just use the APA ethics code, the APA multicultural guidelines. Okay, so there's a lot of different courses. Exactly. You can do that same thing, but everybody has some kind of statement that talks about even just the ethics codes.
Inclusive something, even though they're taking that.
It's a little tricky, to be frank, because there is some sort of personal way of teaching. It is a tricky thing. It's a tricky road to walk down. Not going to kid you.
We've seen what happens when you leave radicals like this in charge of a university. Why should they ever be in charge of anyone's mental health care?
During the course of writing, a lot changed. A lot of it moved, and we had to sort of rewrite our grades using non-triggering language. I have a protection sector, and so I recognize that puts me in a different position. So one of the things I've been thinking a lot about is sort of where my mind is, because there's been a lot of talk about, well, I got advice for people. Well, just change resources. Or why don't you focus more on this part of it, not that part of it? I was working with a postdoc, and she was the first author on a paper, and we had the DEI because it was about how people do DEI efforts affect litigation. That is the topic. Would you mind if I just use the title for looking at that? So not to give me my paper, but to take DEI out. And I said, yes, I would do that for myself.
We have to go undercover. Change the title.
Yeah, I want you to be supported because that's what it's different to change the word. Why not? But
I do think it's important if you can.
Like rats. Like rats.
And you feel it's important to try to do so.
Shining a spotlight on the rats.
That's sort of one of the things I think about. So the language changes. I don't think language changes. I think it's there. I think the people who are against what Gary's doing are against the content, not the work. So I don't think it's really able to change inside the nation that effective.
At Accuracy in Media, we've exposed divisive DEI initiatives.
All right, so there you go. Good job, Accuracy Media. Good job indeed. Duck Fat was talking about becoming Jewish. It's not so easy to become Jewish. It's not so easy. Just giving you a heads up. Case in point.
I'm here at Burger King, and an employee in Burger King just said Free Palestine to me. Ariana, what did you say to me? What did you say to me, Ariana? Okay, Ariana. Because I was just ordering food for my family.
I have a lot of thoughts about this video. A lot of thoughts about them. Probably not what you're expecting. Maybe it is what you're expecting if you've been here long enough.
This woman looks at me and she says, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Israel." And then she says, "Free Palestine." And I said, "What does that have to do with anything? We came here to order food." But she insisted, "Free Palestine." What, say it again. I got you, Ariana. Here at Burger King. No problem. So back in the car right now, obviously very upset, but we asked for a refund and
You asked for a refund? Really? Really? The jokes write themselves. I should have saved this one for Sin. We asked for... Oh, God.
He left the place, leaving me with the question, Burger King, are you a safe place for Jews right now?
So that's the question. Is Burger King a safe place for Jews right now? I can answer that question for you very simply. Very simple answer for you. Is Burger King a safe place for Jews? Answer, no, it's not. It never has been. Neither is McDonald's. Wendy's, none of these places are. Look, if you want to be Jewish and go eat your cheeseburgers, that's fine. That's fine. You're sitting here making a whole political commentary about like how you're so triggered by someone saying Free Palestine. If someone screamed Free Palestine at me 1,000 times, it wouldn't bother me for 2 seconds. So you want to try and get them in trouble and report them because they said Free Palestine? Some stupid high school dropout who's scrubbing a fryer. What's the goal here? What's the goal? So you should chase her away from her job just because she says Free Palestine? Was she a jerk for trying to throw in your face? Yeah, she was a jerk. So in that sense, I guess I see what I see what you're talking about here. Burger King. You sit here saying I'm a Jew, I should be able to go to Burger King. No. You want to be able to go there, that's fine. Don't flaunt your Jewishness as you're walking into Burger King. Disgusting. I'm sorry. Everything about this, he's saying as a Jew, he's offended. As a Jew, I'm offended that he makes a video about being a Jew going to Burger King. Okay, as a Jew, I'm offended. Does that mean he shouldn't be able to make videos like this? He's allowed to make videos like this. I'm also allowed to rank on him for being an idiot. A little whiny baby. Not humiliating. It's just humiliating with his little stupid Bert from Sesame Street haircut. Just stop it. Just stop it. Everything about this video just got me angry at this guy. Rami Feinstein. How humiliating. No, I can't eat the fries. You don't eat the fries there. Nothing there is kosher. Maybe a soda. I wouldn't eat anything cooked there. Burger King is safe for Jews. Look at this headline. Is Burger King safe for Jews? It's not. It's not meant for Jews. That's it. You want to go eat there. If you're Jewish, you want to go eat there. You know, it's your call. It's your decision. You don't sit there flaunting that you're a Jew who needs to be able to go into Burger King. Like, oh my God, make Burger King a safe place for Jews. What the hell? What does that mean? What does that mean? Make Burger King a safe place for Jews. That's like make Islam a safe place for gays. It's just not reality. It's just, well, accept reality. Just accept it. Deal with reality. So if this guy wasn't making a video about going to Burger King, I wouldn't say anything. If he was making a video about free Palestine and how it bothers him, I would have been like, you're kind of a baby, but I wouldn't have talked about it. A guy making a video about how he needs to make Burger King a safe place for Jews. I'm sorry. No. Burger King has never been a safe place for Jews and never will be a safe place for Jews. It's not meant for Jews. There's some places that are not meant for Jews. You don't want to accept it. I understand. And I know you're not talking about the whole fact that it's not kosher issue. I know you're to bask in it, throwing your little Jew cape here. I'm a Jew and I need to be able to eat in Burger King. Oh, gosh, disgusting. So gross. It's so gross. I'm sorry. I saw this video like right before I was about to go live, and I was just like, I got triggered by it. Thank you for all the I don't know what's happening with the jewel salad, but like, if you think I'm counting up like 30 cents at a time, you're insane. I'm not counting these, okay? I know I said I'm counting everything. I'm not counting these little 30-cent things. It's gonna, I can't. I think I'm like a math whiz here or something. Feels as if I'm being trolled. What are you doing to me? What did I ever do to you? Little 30-cent things. God. I'm not counting those. No. I said I'll count $5. I'm not counting the $2 ones either. I'm counting the $5 ones, okay? I think that's more than fair. All right. While we're talking about like crazy leftists. There we go. Little silver star. Now things are happening. Okay. Everyone's asking about the different things in Burger King that could be kosher. Is the salt kosher? Yes. You're not going into Burger King for the salt. Basically, anything they cook there is not going to be kosher. The ice creams, I don't know. I'm not a rabbi. I can't tell you can go ahead and eat the ice cream. If someone went in there and got just like a fountain soda, that's fine. The problem is that anything they cooked that's not being supervised by someone ensuring that they're not going to be having bacon or meat and cheese mixed together in it is going to be a problem. So I understand that they're not putting bacon or beef in the fryer, but you don't know that it hasn't been in there. And since you don't know it hasn't been in there, you can't go in there and buy anything. You can't go in there and buy anything from that. The one thing that most people are very chilled about is like coffee. Why is coffee is cooked? Why is coffee okay? The reason coffee is okay is because it's something that you would be ruining the coffee by doing anything other than putting your standard coffee ingredients inside it. And so there's an assumption that they're not purposefully trying to trick Jews into eating not kosher. That was actually a legitimate concern back in the day. It's obviously not the same type of concern today, but that like basically someone was trying to like, game Jews into eating not kosher. They're not going to harm themselves though. No one's going to be harming themselves to like do that. So you're not going to be ruining your coffee machine by throwing in like pig grease inside your coffee machine. So it's not good. So there's an assumption. That's why I'll go into Starbucks and I'll get coffee from a Starbucks, even though there's nothing symbolizing that it's kosher. Does that make sense? You understand? But anything that like has no one, no Orthodox Jews supervising what's happening there, and they're cooking things that are not kosher. I wouldn't buy anything from the that's made in the ovens in Starbucks. No jokes about ovens. But the point being that anything they're baking there, I don't know, maybe someone threw a cheese, a ham and cheese sandwich in there, whatever you guys cook. So they threw in the oven to make themselves lunch, which would make the oven not kosher. And now you're baking your little cupcakes in there. Those would become not kosher too. So that's the concern there for the most part. But yeah, the salt, the ketchup, the soda, the ice cream is probably kosher. Probably. Ice cream in a cup. I don't know. Don't take my word on it. If you're looking for me to be your guiding rabbinic authority to say it's okay to buy ice cream there, definitely not. I've never ever bought ice cream in McDonald's. I'm not your Huckleberry on that one. Hey, thank you. See, I don't know what's happening here. I can't figure out this stuff here. Pam, hey Joe, does this count? Burger King is not kosher. This is 100% true. Yes, and I'm not gonna kid you. I always, when I see those commercials with the cheese dripping down on the hamburger, it looks delicious. It does. Probably doesn't taste as good as it looks, but it looks really good. But certain sacrifices we make for God. I'm not even going to be pulling this up soon. Give up on pulling them up. Thank you for doing the $5 ones, Joe. For some reason, YouTube will let me post $10 post chat. It only let me post 5 and 50. It's being really weird tonight. It's being really, like I said, I can't post a goal. I don't know why. I'm gonna try and if I'm not counting these blue things. I'm just not doing that. But I will tell you that I'm gonna be trying to help you hit the goal tonight. Let's get into the Andy Ogles impeachment articles. Articles, Just the News reporting, articles of impeachment to be introduced against Obama-appointed judge after TPS decision. The judicial activists' obstruction of the people's will must be stopped. Judge Burroughs must be impeached, he says. This came out over the weekend. Representative Andy Ogles said that he would do this. He did do this later today. This article is from August 1st. Today is August 3. Representative Andy Ogles revealed he plans to introduce articles of impeachment against the judge on Monday. Quote, SCOTUS made it very clear that lower courts cannot suspend TPS, or actually a removal of designation of TPS. Yet, an Obama-appointed judge is defying the court and the Constitution in an attempt to subvert the will of the president, Ogles said in a statement provided to Just the News. The judicial activists' obstruction of the people's will must be stopped. Judge Burroughs must be impeached, he added. Ogles wrote on X that U.S. District Judge Alison Burroughs' decision to block Trump from ending temporary protected status for Somalis was unconstitutional. He's right. It is an unconstitutional decision. It's an illegal order from a judge. There's really no other word for it. It's an illegal order. A lot of people think never heard the term before. I was saying this at the beginning of Trump's term, and I'll say it probably a lot more. There's such a thing as an order that's illegal. This is an illegal order. You're willfully flouting your constraints under the Constitution. You're entering an illegal order. And there should be ramifications, and there are none right now, short of impeachment. On Monday, I'll file articles of impeachment against Judge Alison Burroughs for her unconstitutional act of judicial activism, ! times 3. Enough is enough. Americans first, not third world migrants, he wrote. All right. So that was what he said he was going to do. James Percival writing, several district judges, he's a DHS general counsel, 7th general counsel of the United States Department of Homeland Security. So he's one of the good guys. Several district judges continue to defy the Supreme Court's ruling on TPS. The most egregious example is Judge Alison Burroughs, District of Massachusetts, appointed by Barack Obama. Burroughs already prevented us from ending Somalia TPS, notwithstanding the Supreme Court's ruling. But what makes her case notable is that after we sought emergency relief from the First Circuit, She vacated her order and entered a new one on Friday, seeking to make us start all over. At this point, plaintiffs cannot win, so the whole strategy is delay, delay, delay. What does that mean? So she entered a TRO stopping Trump from ending temporary protected status. If you're unfamiliar with the term TPS or temporary protected status, that is something that is a grant of authority. Most of you probably know what it is, but for the few of you who might still be in the dark on this, that you can bypass a lot of immigration laws and bring in a whole swarms of people. Swaths or swarms? I made it swarths. And they happen to be swarthy. So there's that too. You can bring in swarms of people by issuing to a nation or a region temporary protected status based on it's supposed to be issued based on some sort of calamity. Temporary protected status is supposed to be lasting something for a relatively short period of time. Hence, you can sort of glean that from the fact that it's temporary protected status, not lifetime achievement award of protected status. However, it seems as if for many nations, temporary protected status, which is supposed to be renewed every year and a half or so, apparently, for one reason or another, it keeps getting renewed and renewed and renewed and renewed, even though it's supposed to die once the calamity ends. And the calamity could be some sort of insurrection, some sort of rebellion happening in the country, some sort of natural calamity like earthquakes or, typhoons, tsunamis, something like that, which is causing widespread devastation for a particular country. So Congress has authorized the president and DHS to basically issue temporary protected status. And there are many demographics of folks who have had temporary protected status in this country for 20 years, decades. One of them being Somalians. When Trump tried ending temporary protected status, he got a lot of pushback in the courts, and the Supreme Court ended up saying, back off of Trump. He has complete carte blanche on who he wants to end temporary protected status for, as long as he's not being purposefully racist. And the assumption is going to be not racist. So with that in mind, he's been ending temporary protected status for a lot of people, a lot of different nations, one of them being Somalia. One of the things that we went through papers on this, arguments that were made in the past, and when we were covering the SCOTUS decision, where they basically found in favor of the federal government in the case of Doe versus Mullen, as in Mark Wayne Mullen, head of DHS. So in that case, it was, I believe, Judge Alito who made the point, you cannot say he's being racist and then say, and your point being that he's being racist because he's against brown people, because you're telling me that he's racist and that's why he's ending TPS, but at the same time, you're saying he does it for people from the Middle East, from South America, from all these different, from the Caribbean. You can't say that he's racist against everyone. That's great. That makes him not racist. He just doesn't like TPS. If you tell me he just doesn't like TPS, well, he doesn't like TPS. It's up to him. It's his call. That's not racist. That's just someone who doesn't like temporary protected status. He doesn't care who it is. So they stupidly shot themselves in their own feet when they were presenting their arguments. Judge Burroughs here, though, Barack Obama appointee. So what did she do? So first she entered a stay saying your whole ending of TPS for Somalians doesn't go into effect. James Percival, on behalf of the federal government, goes running to the First Circuit and saying, this crazy lefty is ignoring the express decision of the Supreme Court of the United States in Doe v. Mullen, which came out like last month. She's completely ignoring it. She saw that happening, so she withdrew her TRO. Why would she withdraw her TRO? In order to make the circuit court appeal Moot. It's not there anymore. Then she enters a brand new TRO, effectively doing pretty much the same exact thing, but now it's a new TRO, which means that if you want to fight against it, you have to go back to court and start your timing on this all over again. That's the point that James Percival is making over here. That she knows she's going to lose, so she just is just withdrawing it and then throwing it back up there again. It's just to delay. This is not someone who's a judge. This is an activist. This is someone who just wants to just is very bitter about the fact that she's not president of the United States and that the president doesn't seem to agree with her politically, whatever warped politics she happens to have. That's essentially what we're dealing with here. Nick Sorter, as he's reporting out, that the articles of impeachment have been filed. This came today against federal Judge Alison Burroughs for refusing to obey the Supreme Court and blocking President Trump from ending TPS for Somalis. If judges aren't held accountable, we will lose our country. Representative Andy Ogles officially made the filing today, vowing to hold this activist judge accountable. Well, we'll see if that actually happens.
So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American. But it's like
which sounds like two totally inconsistent things.
A cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. You know, people don't really see it's people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but that's what it's like to be Somali and American. It's like that combination of banana and rice, but you're gonna get what I mean.
Before this girl was invented, I never had any correlation at all between Somalia, bananas, or rice. Just kidding. So it wasn't like I was thinking, oh, another banana rice eater. What the hell is happening here? So I'll ask you, name the last Somalian. Name the most significant contributions Somalians have made to the United States of America. Go. And go. Just shout it out. Shout out all the significant contributions we here in America have gotten from Somalia. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. Give me all of them. Give me all of them. I want to hear every single one. Every single one. I want to ask Rock this question. You guys are laying me down. You haven't come up with anything? Let's see if what Grok can invent. Hey, Grok. Can you list off all of the significant contributions that Somalians have made to the United States of America?
Somali Americans, mostly arriving as refugees since the 1990s, have built a notable presence, especially in Minnesota, where the community numbers around 100,000.
Right, I know. So just list off all of the accomplishments that they have.
Okay, here's a list.
Keep going.
Okay, so we have the community in Minnesota. Then there's Ilhan Omar, who became the first Somali American elected to Congress. Also, Mohammed Noor was the first Somali American police officer in Minneapolis. And there are Somali American athletes like Mo Farah, who won Olympic gold.
Yeah, so she just took over a spot from someone else. I mean, someone being elected isn't really anything. That just means that there's too many Somalians here that they voted for other Somalians. That's not really an accomplishment. I want accomplishments.
Fair point. Just being elected is one thing. Somali Americans have started businesses in Minnesota, like restaurants, grocery stores, and money transfer services, creating jobs. They've also worked in healthcare and social services, helping their community with language and cultural needs. And there are students and professionals going into fields like engineering and tech.
Yeah. So the point is they haven't done anything. I think they had that Mo Farah person who won gold. Very important. Very big stuff. Okay. All right. So not so beneficial to the United States so far. Representative Andy Ogles saying, I just introduced articles of impeachment against radical judicial activist Judge Allison Burrow. She's the judge who decided that she can stand in the way of Trump from ending TPS for Somalians. For ignoring the Supreme Court and attempting to force mass migration from Somalia into American communities. America is not Africa's dumping grounds. We will end temporary protected status, remove those who have no lawful right to remain, and put the sovereignty of the American people first. Here's what he put in here. We're going to embiggen this a little bit. Really? Impeaching Allison Dale Burrows, a judge in the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts for high crimes and misdemeanors in the House of Representatives. Impeaching Allison Dale Burrows, a judge in the United States District Court for Massachusetts for high crimes and misdemeanors. Resolved that Allison Dale Burrows, a judge in the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts, is impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors, and that the following articles of impeachment be exhibited to the Senate. Article of impeachment exhibited by the House of Representatives of the United States of America in the name of itself and the people of the United States, and of America against Allison Dale Burrows, a judge in the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts, in maintenance and support of its impeachment against her for high crimes and misdemeanors. Article 1. Allison Dale Burrows, a judge in the United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts, defied the authority of both federal law and the Supreme Court of the United States as follows. Judge Burrows issued a stay on the lawful determination by the President of the United States to end temporary protected status for the nation of Somalia. In issuing this stay, Judge Burrows ignored the clear intention of Congress expressed in Section 244B5A of the INA that, quote, there is no judicial review of any determination of the Secretary of Homeland Security with respect to the designation or termination or extension of a temporary protected status designation of foreign states. In issuing this stay, Judge Burrows attempted to get around the Supreme Court's ruling in Mullen v. Doe by entertaining spurious allegations of racial and national origin discrimination against an administration that has chosen to not renew a single temporary protected status designation. And that's exactly the point that Judge Alito wrote. When they're not extending anyone's TPS, it's hard to say that they're being racist about it. They're just saying we don't want no more TPS. Kind of defeats the entire point. You're gonna give us the whole language here?
You think about DHS's Worst of the Worst series that they do. The main purpose of that is just to inform the American public about what's going on. There's a lot.
Shut up. I hate Fox. Oh, that's annoying. Really making me work for it, aren't they? In issuing this stay, Judge Burroughs usurped the authority delegated to the President of the United States to determine whether to extend temporary protected status. Accordingly, Judge Alison Dell Burroughs has engaged in conduct so contrary to her role on the Constitution of the United States that she's guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors, unfit to hold the office of federal judge, and should be removed from office. Good luck getting this through the Senate. My question, the reason I'm bringing this story to you is I have a question for you. Do you guys think this does anything? Like anything at all? To like thwart them? Or do you think they look at it as an accolade that, hey, I got impeached by the Republican Congress? Do you think it does anything at all? That's the question I have. Let's see what's going on here. Floating Hearts, Makeup Brush, Sunday. Thank you for doing the $5 ones, Joe. For some reason, I got this one. 10 jewels. I don't even know. Jewels, more jewels. 200 of them. Kimberly, Joe, even Israel has their liberals. Oh, this is true. They have a lot of liberals. Way too many liberals. That's part of the problem I have with the Jewish state. There's way too many liberals. Way too many. Thumbs up. I'm going to just knock all these off. I got... And the gold coin. All right, there we go. I think we covered all of this. Richard says, bad news, Joe. I can't hang out with you anymore. Don't get me wrong. I'm not turning in my tracks, so I just can't join you at the bonfire. 1 of 3 or 4. I don't know what that means. 1 of 3 or 4? The bonfire? Oh, there's going to be 3 or 4 of these. That's really... I would have counted the 20. If you just put the 20, I would have just counted as... I would have counted... I'm counting this as 20. I'm not counting this as 1. We're doing just cumulative for the goal tonight. If I walked into a food establishment and someone hollered an anti-white slogan, I would immediately ask for a refund and leave. The problem is not the kosherness, but dangerous contamination. And that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Okay. I get that. I get, I've talked about you. I like that you brought this up, Sandy, because this is a really good point. As a general rule, like I've made a big distinction between people who are in the service industry and people who, and I mean service, like their unique services are what's the reason you're coming there. It could be a lawyer, it could be a hairstylist. But something about them and the way they do their work is adding value to the purchase. So there, I think the notion of boycotting someone because you don't like their political stance makes sense. When it's someone who is a clerk at a store, which is basically a function which is, could be replaced by AI in 5 years, or any of these jobs in, any of the MIC jobs that you're talking about here, I almost feel as if like I don't have an objective of harassing these people. I remember there was someone who like made some sort of gross comment about Charlie Kirk, who was working at Home Depot, and I'm just like, this woman is 60 years old working at Home Depot. So she made some, maybe it might not have been about Charlie Kirk, it might have been about Trump, whatever. But and I'm just like, she works at Home Depot. Like, this is hell already. What do you want her to like not have a job working anywhere? She's not gonna be able to work anywhere. So then we're gonna have to pay for her. So now we're gonna have to pay for her, and she's on welfare. She's freaking Home Depot. She's like barely making minimum wage. So, on the other hand, that woman in the Home Depot story, she was being harassed for a Facebook post that she put up, which was a gross and disgusting Facebook post. And I'm just like, I don't know why we're harassing these people. She's an idiot. I mean, she's working. She's 60. Her life's ambition is working at Home Depot. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? But that's different. And Sandy here is touching on the key distinction. Because the key distinction is that woman wasn't being harassing to customers, and this woman there was being harassing to customers. So in that sense, Burger King probably would be in their interest to stop them from being a jerk to customers and just chasing customers away. So, I mean, you shouldn't frame it as, are you a safe place for Jews? If he hadn't framed it that way, I would have been less bothered by it. It should have been more about, you know, because that's trying to take the collective Jews and say the Jews are going to come after Burger King. That's, I think, what I didn't really process in my brain what was bothering me so much about it. But basically, it was like, oh no, the Jews are going to boycott, you know, Burger King. I'm like, and if they fire her, we're not. Is that the game plan? So yeah, I just like that's what bothered me. It's almost like he's trying to, calling all Jews. We need to boycott Burger King. That's what it felt like he was doing. But if we just put aside the whole Burger King kosherness thing, whatever, that whole thing, the notion of someone harassing customers, if he had done it as far as this is the way you have your customer service, that you basically have your staff harassing customers, that would have been totally fine. Totally fine. So you're right. It's a very important distinction you're making there, Sandy. And it makes it different from the Home Depot store. Brian Oldenkamp coming on in here. I'll call it, what the heck? Goal! Dropping 20 good Lawgic memberships. God bless you, brother. I know there's no goal up there. You probably didn't even know there was a goal because you don't even see a goal. But there was a goal. The goal was that I'm going to be sharing my Fauci song. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to be a little embarrassed by it, but we're going to do it anyway, just because that was the goal. That was the goal. Start impeaching. Maybe Roberts finally acts. Maybe. Hopefully. We can pray. Let me see who he brought on in here. Who'd you bring on in here? Following 20 people brought into the following courtesy of Brian Oldenkamp. My brother Brian. Why don't I see it? So I'm not going to get it? Am I not getting it? I don't see it. Should see it. Should be here. There we go. When you hear your name, please make sure you express your gratitude to Brian for bringing you to the following, which is a gathering of like-minded individuals who can create personal growth, community, learning, and thinking. That would include you, Mega Taz Mom, Creed OG, C. Cragen, Michael Stetson, Philip Coggins. Hey, Philip, look at that, brother. Amarusta, Endless, Liesa, Mod Princess, Salvatore Azzarello, AMSS5KT, Tim 9516, Wild Bill Slunk Sauce, Mike Bennett 6421, I Am Binary Mind. All right. Moon Safari, Amy J 2937, Melissa Snyder 8084, Heather Iris 2689, and Sky Bowles. Welcome to the following. Please make sure that you express your gratitude when you hear and those of you who were called out, and those of you who weren't called out, best of luck next time. Best of luck next time. Couldn't finish a joke. YouTube censoring. Don't know if it was hearing tom-toms or watching the ladies dance or smelling the squirrels downwind. There's a lot going on, so yeah. Awesome. Can't wait. Thank you. We're gonna hear the song. The song is coming after I get to my next story. So anyway, so my question for you though is, Kimmy already answered the question. She's saying start impeaching. Maybe Roberts finally acts. The problem we know is that Senate's never going to confirm. You're never going to get 2/3 of the Senate to go on board. You're never going to get that. You think that moves Roberts? You would think that Roberts would be annoyed already that, you know, it's like, look, this is a decision we made and she's just completely ignoring our decision. Just a mess. Just a mess. I don't know. No, this is true. I agree with you. He's dead, Jim. I agree with you. I mean, look, we all know that ultimately this TPS is going to be ended. We know that's going to happen. But it's annoying because it's basically trying to run out the clock to give Trump as little time as possible. She figures it's one less week that ICE can be removing Somalians. That's essentially what she's thinking. That's her thought process. One more week of delay is one fewer week that Trump can be removing the Somalians. Because these people hate America. Speaking of impeachments, there's another judge who is potentially ripe for impeachment on a completely different basis. A completely different basis. But I stumbled on this when I was pulling up judge impeachments today. Attorney General James Uthmeier, he's the Attorney General for Florida, said, today I sent a letter to Speaker Johnson, Mike Johnson, and Chairman Grassley, Jordan and Comer, requesting an impeachment inquiry into Judge Nancy Abudu. Who's Judge Nancy Abudu? She served as SPLC's Director of Strategic Litigation during part of its alleged fraud that funded the KKK with donor money. So I want to look at this letter that he sent because I think this is an interesting thought. I'm going to look at this together. I haven't read it yet. James Uthmeier, AG for the state of Florida, to Speaker Mike Johnson. Dear Speaker Johnson, Chairman Grassley, I write to request initiation of an impeachment inquiry into Judge Nancy Abudu to determine whether her service as a top attorney for the Southern Poverty Law Center warrants her impeachment and removal from the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit. Only those of the highest character are fit to administer the laws of this great nation. In light of recent revelations concerning potential criminal conduct by SPLC, Judge Abudu's leadership role within SPLC raises serious questions about what she knew and did and whether she should continue serving on the federal bench. As such, I strongly recommend that the House of Representatives and Senate take up their constitutional duty to serve as a check on the judicial branch. As you are aware, a federal grand jury returned an indictment against SPLC. The indictment details how SPLC, a supposedly anti-extremist organization, facilitated a decade-long clandestine operation that funded extremist groups like the KKK and Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club. Quote, between at least 2014 and 2023, the SPLC received donation money under the auspices that the funds would be used to dismantle violent extremist groups, but instead used some of that money for the benefit of the violent extremist groups SPLC claims to oppose. This is fraud. SPLC's fraudulent scheme was complex and pervasive. To perpetuate its fraudulent extremist activities, SPLC committed wire fraud, quote, to obtain donations through materially false representations and omissions about what the donated funds would be used for. They made false statements to federally insured banks to conceal how they fraudulently funded extremism. In this effort, SPLC started several fictitious entities. They weren't just funding the KKK. They're starting these fake entities to hold and distribute money through unknowing banks, so it'd be harder to trace SPLC's fraud because they knew how ugly this would be if anyone found out about it. So, like, let's send this money over to this fake entity and have that fake entity funnel the money over to the KKK. And SPLC committed concealment money laundering by concealing the true nature, source, ownership, and control of fraudulently obtained donated money that SPLC paid to extremist groups. All this to fund and further the very extremism SPLC decries. Because of these revelations, I have also commenced a deceptive and unfair trade practices investigation into SPLC on behalf of the state of Florida. I hope you can get criminal charges against this judge. That'd be great. Judge Abudu was one of SPLC's top attorneys from 2019 to 2023 while the fraudulent enterprise was ongoing. She was the director of strategic litigation who created practice groups and oversaw litigation. It strains credulity to think that Judge Abudu, a senior legal officer at SPLC, wouldn't have been aware of the organization's alleged criminal conduct during her tenure. Congress has, quote, the sole power of impeachment, and impeachments may be made for high crimes and misdemeanors, which I believe Judge Abudu may be responsible during her time with SPLC and which she may have committed by failing to disclose SPLC's fraudulent practices during her confirmation process. The Orwellian lengths SPLC traveled to deceive its donors are particularly disturbing, given the extremist nature of the groups it supported. Judge Abudu's potential knowledge of and involvement in SPLC's conduct necessitates an impeachment inquiry. A sitting judge should not be able to escape impeachment for wrongful conduct occurring prior to her appointment that may have been concealed from the Senate and the public during the confirmation process. The Constitution grants Congress the power to serve as a check on the judiciary. In the normal course, judges oversee that process that holds accountable individuals who have acted wrongfully. But what about when those individuals are judges? Who judges the judges? The Constitution provides the answer. Congress, your action is necessary to ensure that federal judges entrusted to exercise judgments in matters of life, liberty, and property are worthy of the public trust and to preserve public confidence in our courts. I like, if for nothing else, that Uthmeier is helping bring this to the public's attention, that we have a judge here who is very likely part of the SPLC shenanigans. We don't know what her extent of her involvement was, but I like that he at least calls it to our attention. Judge Nancy Abudu. See that? There's a little side story there that I just threw in there. Gratis. Somebody asked if I check PayPal. I can check PayPal. I haven't checked PayPal, but I like checking PayPal. I like when people tell me to check PayPal. That's always that's a really good feeling. I assume it doesn't mean that they managed to defraud me and steal my money out of PayPal, because that would be less fun. But I should check PayPal. Oh, wow. Well, thank you. Thank you, Kim. Sending a 20 at me. I'm going to hit. Much obliged to you. That's KPT. KPT. Now I'm going to start calling you Kim. You won't even know what's happening. I canceled my membo to save $5 a month and realized I spent $200 a month on super chats. Can't help myself. Only time and TV rollers back. I'll be lurking. Well, I don't want you to cancel your membership. I mean, that's maybe you got gifted. Maybe. I'll try to be less addictive. Thank you for the 100 jewels, Rachel Hope Brinson. And finally tonight, our final story tonight. So remember Todd Blanche, Assistant Attorney General Todd Blanche? He was assistant to the very disappointing Pam Bondi, the highly disappointing Pam Bondi, the what the hell happened, you suck Pam Bondi. Well, after she got her walking papers, or left, whatever you want to frame it, but after she's been moved out to pasture, thank you God, so he became the acting Attorney General, and now he's trying to get confirmed. The problem he's having is that there's only 53 GOP senators, and they're not much in a confirming mood when they see that their time is up and that Trump helped orchestrate that. And Tom Tillis and Jim Cornyn have been screaming about the 1776 fund. Now, I reported to you all about the anti-weaponization fund that was created in a deal between Trump and Todd Blanche. The way that whole thing went down was Donald Trump, in his individual capacity, sued the United States of America for $10 billion based on what happened with his tax returns being made public. The United States of America reached a settlement that was signed off by Todd Blanche, whereby Trump would not get any money at all, but the United States would create a fund called the 1776 Fund because $1.776 billion was supposed to go into this fund to help recompense those who were victims of the Biden administration's weaponization of its DOJ. Now, this fund has never, they started trying to kick it off to jumpstart it. Never really got much off the ground. And today it's dead. It got a lot of flack because people were saying it looked like self-dealing, where Trump and individuals basically settling with the United States government that he controls. So I can get how people were bothered by that. If Biden had done something like that, I would have been livid. Blanche was questioned about this when he was meeting. I think it was Blanche who was questioned about this, asking if the reflecting pool guy who had charges brought against him and then dropped, whether he would be eligible for money under the fund, which was CNN's way of trying to stick it to him. And now the fund is dead, and the plug was pulled on it by Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche issues order rescinding nearly $1.8 billion in the anti-weaponization fund, set stage for AG confirmation to move forward. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche issued an official order rescinding the anti-weaponization fund in an effort to quell the concerns of GOP senators and move forward in the confirmation process to become the permanent head of the DOJ. On Sunday, Blanche posted on X the order rescinding the fund. Though Blanche had previously repeatedly indicated the fund would not be moving forward, Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis, the snakes, insisted that the DOJ formally commit to not reviving the fund. Quote, my team and I have met with the committee members and senators over the past several weeks and addressed any concerns or outstanding questions, Blanche wrote on X. We have enjoyed good faith discussions and as a result issued the following order and update with regard to the May IRS settlement. The department always welcomes and appreciates productive engagement with all members of Congress, he continued, as he needs to kiss up to the Republican Senate GOP. And this is what he wrote. Department of Justice today announced that the acting attorney general rescinded the May 18, 2026 order established the anti-weaponization fund. That was the 1776 fund. Although the acting attorney general has repeatedly advised Congress through testimony, including under oath, as well as in written responses, that the fund is not moving forward, the department has repeatedly represented to district courts that the fund is not moving forward. Today, order officially rescinds the May 18, 2026 order. Further, the May 19, 2026 order regarding a mutual release of claims applies by its terms only retroactively. Additionally, the terms lawfare and or weaponization in that order were already defined in the settlement agreement as the use of government power to target individuals, groups, and entities for improper and unlawful political, personal, and or ideological reasons. The acting AG stands by all of his July 15, 2026 Senate Judiciary Committee testimony, including answers to questions asked by Senator Cornyn related to the scope and applicability of the May 19, 2026 order. A transcript of the acting attorney general's testimony is attached. He incorporates that testimony by reference and restates that it is the DOJ's interpretation that the order only has any effect, including on any release of claims, on the named parties in the lawsuit referenced in the order. So he's basically saying this never got off the ground, that this never was anything. But he's very much kissing and trying to make nice with Tillis and Cornyn as he needs their stupid vote. And because they're gay, they suck. Gay, not in a good way. The Attorney General May 18 order establishing anti-weaponization fund is rescinded, shall have no force or effect for the avoidance of doubt. Nothing in this order is intended to contradict or otherwise be contrary to the prior representations by the DOJ that the fund is not operative. So don't think that I'm killing something that was ongoing. It wasn't ongoing. No members were appointed. No funds were transferred. No process for receiving claims was established. No claims were paid, period. Nevertheless, several frivolous lawsuits have been filed challenging the fund, and at least one court has declined to dismiss those claims as moot. This order establishes beyond any doubt that there is no fund. So, if you were one of the victims of the J6 Select Committee or the weaponized DOJ, do you have any relief? In theory, malicious prosecution, you can go to court. You probably should have contacted a lawyer a while ago, like the day you were set free, the day you were pardoned. You still can go after it. It probably just would be like a little bit more tricky. It's probably be considerably trickier to collect it than it likely would have been. We don't know how it would have been if this fund existed. You still can sue the United States of America. Don't think that you're without recourse. You have recourse. It's just this was a claim that was set up to help, I think, streamline those claims. And now it's harder. Now you need to win in court. But I still wouldn't hesitate to bring those cases if I were you, if I was your attorney, because you feel like you might get a DOJ that's going to be very friendly to you and very sympathetic and might settle with you generously. Decent chance. I don't know. I haven't seen any of these cases prosecuted, but I certainly would try to move forward with them. So why is he doing all this? Well, the reason he's doing all this is he's trying to get his vote passed. So he's formally rescinding his anti-weaponization fund because he's looking to get his 50 votes. How's that going? How's that plan working? Well, so far it actually seems like it's working. It seems like it's working. And we need to ask ourselves, why is this working? But GOP Senators Cornyn, Tillis confirmed they'll back Todd Blanche for AG after he scraps Trump's anti-weaponization fund. So they say they're going from being no votes to being yes votes. Senators John Cornyn and Tom Tillis confirmed Monday they will vote to advance Todd Blanche's nomination for AG out of the Senate Judiciary Committee after the acting DOJ chief formally terminated a $1.776 billion fund established earlier this year for victims of reported government weaponization. From the outset, so whereas he's still trying to get out of committee, the reason you need to make it through committee is because you don't make it through committee, you're going to need a majority, not a simple majority of 50, but you would need a majority of 60. From the outset, we were clear that we needed a written document addressing our concerns on the IRS audit agreement and the anti-weaponization fund. That's what Cornyn and Tillis said in a joint statement. This is what these rhinos were saying. We were clear. We needed a written document addressing our concerns on the IRS audit agreement and the anti-weaponization fund. We are pleased that the DOJ has issued a formal order terminating the anti-weaponization fund. We want to express our gratitude to Mr. Blanche and his staff for working with us on this, and we can look forward to advancing the nomination of our Senate Judiciary Committee soon. What jackasses. Like jackasses to the other end. What utter and total jackasses. The judiciary, and I'll explain why in a moment. In fact, let me explain to you why they're such stupid jackasses. Because these stupid clowns who basically were bounced out of Congress for being terrible rhinos, what the hell do they care about this weaponization fund, the anti-weaponization fund? Why do they care so much about it? They just want to try and basically be able to have a feather in their cap that they killed something that Trump was trying to create. That's all this is. Trump wanted to create something which would make MAGA happy, and we just killed it. We forced Todd Blanche to kill it. So they want to be able to just say that they did that so they can feel all good about themselves, and because they're so butthurt and they're so bitter and angry about the fact that MAGA basically told them to go to hell. And the Trump and MAGA jointly told them to go to hell. And they're just bitter. So, like, we want to basically piss all over MAGA because this fund was clearly designed to help MAGA. They never gave the slightest crap about actual American patriots. So they basically want to be able to say, oh, we got the official death blow of the 1776 fund. That's what this was. They just wanted to signal that they got the final say, ha ha, we managed to kill this little goose of yours, this little golden goose of yours, Donald Trump. That's all this was about at all. And frankly, it's disturbing. This is like reasons like 438 and 439 why these two knuckleheads need to be removed. So glad they're gone. The Judiciary panel, which is chaired by Senator Chuck Grassley, has scheduled a vote on Blanche for Tuesday morning. Late Sunday, the acting AG formally rescinded a May 18th order establishing the anti-weaponization fund, declaring that it shall have no force or effect. Does that mean he can't rekindle it? Of course he could. Of course he could. Now, first he has to get through the committee hearing, win the majority, and then get 50 votes out of Congress, which he's hopeful he'll get. Some people who are Trump fans will say that this was Trump's way of playing 4D chess and helping get Blanche confirmed by giving him something to pull back that they had. Some will claim that. I don't think that that's what this was. But I do think that it got such flack that they basically decided that this is probably not going to get off the ground. And there were legal issues with it. When I first reported on this thing back on May 18th, May 19th, I was telling y'all, if Biden had done something with this with his DOJ, you would be livid. You would be. So this was always going to, because it just feels like self-dealing. Even though the Trump and his family were specifically omitted from the or from the 1776 fund, still, it felt like self-dealing. felt like buying votes of like people who like him. That's what it felt like. Now, there was one other part to this deal that I should share with y'all. And that is that in the original deal, part of the deal was that Trump could not be audited for his tax IRS. He and his family could not be audited for his IRS filings. So that was another part of the deal that Cornyn and Tillis did not like. And the upshot of what they actually concluded, however, was that Trump cannot be audited going backwards, but that he can be audited for any future filings. Any past tax filings of Trump and his family will not be audited, but future filings may be audited. As OAN reports, as part of a settlement with the IRS for the suit brought by President Donald Trump, his two eldest sons in the Trump organization over leaked tax returns, the fund would be established to provide compensation for victims of weaponization and lawfare. This isn't the part that I wanted. Here it is. In addition to formally rescinding the fund, the document also clarifies limits on audit protections provided to Trump and members of his family and business associates as part of the IRS settlement. The document asserted that such protections only applied retroactively, meaning only to claims open at the time of the settlement and do not protect against future audits, which is probably the healthy thing to do. Otherwise, why would they ever file anything honestly if they can't be double checked? You start giving them a blank check to cheat the IRS if you say we can never audit you, right? So it does seem reasonable. A spokesperson from Cornyn's office acknowledged that the Senate and DOJ have reached an agreement. Senator Cornyn has reached an agreement with DOJ, which will be issuing a formal order permanently terminating the anti-weaponization fund and making clear a binding written document that the scope of the audit settlement is limited to only the plaintiffs, including the president and the IRS. Following a holdup of Blanche's advancement, Trump floated withdrawing his nomination and reinstating it after Senators Cornyn and Tillis leave office in January. Tillis announced he would not be seeking re-election, and Cornyn lost his primary race to Trump-backed candidate Ken Paxton. Trump also expressed an intention to reinstitute the anti-weaponization fund should Blanche's confirmation not advance, knowing that Tom Blanche was a voice of reason. It will immediately be back on the table, and I will get it done, Trump posted on Truth Social on Saturday. So this is his way of saying, if you don't confirm him, I'm putting this thing back in. Tillis took to social media to oppose the president's statement, asserting it would affect the committee's planned Tuesday vote on whether to advance Blanche's confirmation, because Tillis is a jackass. He can't help but be a jackass. He just has to bray and whenever the mood strikes. Excuse me. That's in my throat. Despite comments as late as yesterday that the fund is dead, President Trump clearly intends to resurrect the payout pot for punks either by inappropriately establishing another bogus fund or pushing Congress to vote for a bill that the majority of Republicans in the Senate would be against, Tillis said on Tuesday, Saturday. Just shut the hell up. Jesus, you suck, Tillis. You're so pathetic. It's unfortunate Todd Blanche, who I would consider qualified for the job, will not be confirmed because of this reversal. Hopefully we can resolve this by Tuesday, he continued. You're such a jackass. You're such a loser, Tillis. Oh my God. Literally not what Trump said. Trump said, if you don't confirm him, I'm going to be pushing it forward. Doofus. Doofus. Such an idiot. What did he say? Trump also expressed the intention to reinstitute the anti-weaponization fund should Blanche's confirmation not advance. If it doesn't go forward, I'm going to be pushing forward on that 1776 thing. This doofus over here, Tom Tillis, stupid man. God, I'm so glad he's gone. Disgusting. Awful. Awful, terrible human being. Blanche should once in reinstate it like the Senate. It would be funny. It would be funny. Let's say F you. F all of you. I don't think he will, though. He doesn't strike me as the type. He does not strike me as the type. Check over here, make sure I didn't miss anything. I promised I was going to share a song with you. Song I've been working on for the last day or so. This is my Fauci song. You guys hit the goal, courtesy of Brian Oldenkamp, brought us over the finish there. And yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Let's do, it's a long song. It's not 15 minutes long. It's not. But here we go. Understand this. I think I was different from a lot of you when I was, maybe some of you were like me on this. I actually really enjoyed watching the agony of Trump pleading, not Trump, excuse me, of Fauci pleading the fifth over and over and over again. To me, this was amazing. To me, this was something that was just utter humiliation for him. And something that, yeah. One day I'm going to have to tell my kids, you know, they lived through it. One day I'm going to tell my grandkids about 2020. And I like sharing things in song. So I worked together with Suno to create a song. The initial thought was to try to make it funny, but the story about Anthony Fauci is really not funny. But it's hopeful. This is a hopeful song. So I guess without further ado, it is long. I don't think I'm going to interrupt it. I'm just going to let it play.
Dear Diary 2014, Obama shuts the door, gain of function banned on American shores. So I packed my bags, took the science east. Wuhan got the lab and the funding lease. We pushed the boundaries, twisted the code. What came out the other side was a natural mode. Call it whatever you want, I still call it mine. I didn't just study the virus, I built the product line. Dear Diary, another day, another stage, another nation turns the page. They hang on every word I say. Tomorrow starts with me today. Flatten the curve, they sing along. 2 weeks to slow the spread becomes the song. Every camera, every screen, the whole world is looking at me. Just trust me, don't ask why. History belongs to the scariest lie. I am the science, that's what they say. Media cameras can't look away. Trust the experts, trust the plan. One more rule for the common man. One more mandate, but not for elites. Funny how the whole world knelt before me. 5,000 1,000 cases, 73 gone was all it took to make a page. One big front page article, the Washington Post, very flattering. My national and international fame is explosive, really unimaginable. I'll sleep well tonight, another headline, another cheer. My star's brighter the more you're in fear. I am the science, that's what they say. Media cameras can't look away. Trust the experts, trust the plan. One more rule for every man, one more mandate, but not for elites. Funny how the whole world knelt before me. The swag around me getting ridiculous, but don't stop now, I'm getting used to this. Bury your nana, give me your thanks. Tell me I'm sexier than Tyra Banks. Not hyperbole, in this whole world there's just one source. Who should play me? Oh, Brad Pitt, of course. Roll the cameras, cue the lights. Another interview, another night. I am the science. Question me once and you're done. I'll have you fired from every job under the sun. I am the science. Branded a lunatic conspiracy freak. Your name becomes poison the second you speak. I am the science. Media will bury you, friends will turn cold. I'll make sure the whole world knows you were told. Doubt is a virus I can't let spread, so stay in your lane or you're socially dead.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment. On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment. On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment. I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment. On the advice of counsel, that's what they say. Every headline, every stage, every camera, every page. Trust the experts, trust the name, trust the man who created the game. Dear diary, the pardon got shredded, the ink didn't last. The jury came back and the verdict was fast. Guilty on every count, no appeal left to file. No cameras, no glory, no Brad Pitt smile. Just the judgment recorded in the cell door sealed. The man who was science is finally revealed. Flatten the curve, 2 weeks to slow the spread.
So there you go. Not bad, right? It's pretty good. Well, thank you. I think it is copyrighted as just by playing it live. Like it becomes like mine because I'm like the earliest one to play it. So there you go. Little hopeful ending there for his final diary entry. Well, thank you. Very flattering. I told you it has a feel of like a little bit of a feel of that like Richmond, north of Richmond type of thing. If you look at the original of pleading the fifth, it was to the judge's community to a guilty party, i.e. Ayin Adakma, Masim Atzma Rush. Oh, Ain Adam Masim Atzma Rush is what I'm trying to say. person can't make themselves, which is the Hebrew phrase where the person cannot make themselves wicked, is what we don't trust a person when they say something that's incriminating. It's under Jewish law. So yeah, jamming, something to jamming. So it's good, right? It's a good song. Like I said, I had fun with it. I kept tweaking it, but I like that extended part. It was like reminding me, like, "Hey Jude," that whole under the advice of counsel. Like I was like, I want this to be playing over and over and over, because to reflect just how he wouldn't answer. He was so cowardly to like not answer anything. Let's clip it. All right, maybe I will. Maybe I will clip it. Every time I tell that story, I warn people, if you're squeamish, you need to I'm going to hold my hand up, tell you what he did, and then I'll put my hand down when I'm done, because what he did to those beagles was... I'll clip that. And I'll share it, and I'll post it. I guess I'll put it on my... I'll clip it tonight, and I'll upload it. You'll have it tomorrow. And just hit publish on Suno. I actually had to edit multiple variants of the song. So Suno, because when I was creating different versions of the song, so and tweaking it here and there. So for example, I'll show you the creative process, which is probably helpful if you have the lyrics also, by the way, like over here. So it was this, look how many of these Diary of a Lab Coat, which I have here. Diary of Dr. Fauci, Diary of a Lab Coat. So these are all the different variants that I have. So if I play different parts of them, when it comes to that part, on the Advice of Counsel, for example, so some of the lyrics I tweaked, which I don't have in the earlier versions. So for example, in this, in the early versions, I didn't have the whole "I am the science" playing in the background when he's going through the way he'll destroy anyone who questions him. And just a couple of lines I tweaked a little bit here and there. But I didn't have the part about Brad Pitt earlier. Also, I only discovered that. I didn't even know that Brad Pitt played. He did say Brad Pitt should play him, and Brad Pitt did play him, which is unbelievable. You go to YouTube. I'm not gonna show you the whole thing, because I know that this will get. This was during.
And now,
this is Brad Pitt playing Anthony Fauci.
And sometimes graphic.
It was just, and he had said, when someone asked who should play him in the movie, he said, well, Brad Pitt, of course. That was a lot of the lines are actually just straight from the diary, or things he actually said, which is part of why I think this song hits. But the other thing is, so that part, on the Advice of Counsel, every time I recreated this song, they changed the nature of the beats a little bit. So for example, on this one, I think it's 5 minutes in. It sounds a little, in a way, on this version of it.
Media will bury you, friends will turn cold. I respectfully decline to answer. Based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment. Oh! On the advice of counsel. On the advice of counsel.
See, that's a little bit different than the one I just played for you. And I like the one I played for you a lot better. So I sort of had to like snip that in, snip this part out. This is most of the body of the song came from this version, but I didn't really like the on the advice of counsel part as much in this version. So that was like just an editor's choice where I basically was doing that. Yeah, Brad Pitt played him on, and at the end of it, by the way, at the end of this stupid segment that Brad Pitt did, he takes off his stupid wig and starts, you know,
the real Dr. Fauci.
God bless you. You're a hero.
You're calm and your clarity and this.
Just like, it's just like, it was making fun of Trump, and it was just like, you know, thanking Dr. Fauci for saving all of us. It's disgusting. It was so gross. Anyway, Lady Lawgic is telling me I should like be making a new song every night. She's like, whatever the topic is of the day, just make a song. Use Suno and make a song. She's like, why don't you just do this all the time? You should be making a song about like whatever's happening today. Just make it on anything. It's like, you know, you have a couple ideas, just throw it in there and just have Suno kick something out for you. I was like, it's an interesting idea. I don't know. It'd definitely be different. Anyway. It was such sycophants. There was so much simping for that guy. Anyway. So yeah, I will try to upload it tomorrow. And I'll try and clip it and upload it for you guys tomorrow. I'll just call it, I should call it I Am the Science. Right? Anthony Fauci song, I Am the Science. Anyway. No other people ready to do that. It's too much. Maybe I'll do it once or twice a week. We'll see. Something particularly good. Something particularly good hits me. But no promises. Anyway. That is my show for tonight. I thank you all for joining me. God willing, I expect to be back here tomorrow evening, hopefully at 10 o'clock. I don't know. I'm going to try to be here at 10 o'clock. I'm going to remind you all that lab meat was never, ever meant for you. It's meant for they, them, and this. Ugh. Comrade Sparkle Hooks. And what else was there? There was something else. I don't know. It's in the song. It's in the song. Good night, everyone. Godspeed.
The plane is landing. The show is almost over. All that's left for you is this song. Joe left the studio. He's probably drinking Diet Mountain Dew. Maybe he's watching funny videos on YouTube, or playing chess, or doing Jewy things Jews do. We hope you had fun, and maybe you learned something. You hit like and you subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to show some love. That would be cool. You can be cool. Leaving comments is cool. So till next time, please be sure to stay away from lab meat. It was never meant for you. It's meant for they or them or come and sparkle hugs. And most importantly, do not eat Z-bugs.
Good night and Godspeed.
Good night and Godspeed.